I think that the PC is always going to be the largest source for indie games and really just games in general, just because of the accessibility. Even if you don't play a lot of games, everyone generally has a computer at home. But as far as consoles go, the Nintendo Switch has really become the haven for all of the best indie games, big or small. In fact, Nintendo themselves have given all of these indie developers their own big presentation, similar to what we see with the regular Nintendo Directs every few months or so, and we just got the newest one a few days ago. In this video, I'll be covering the top 5 games that I picked out from all of the newer releases we found out about on Tuesday. Something that's fascinated me over the last couple of years are these games that were developed by a single person. Stardew Valley is an example. It was developed by one man over the course of 5 years, and now the final product has raked in millions of dollars from just one man's project. Minicozzi's Night Market has a similar story. The game has been fully developed by a single married couple from Canada, but it definitely looks like it could have been made by a large team. From what we can tell so far, this game looks similar to Animal Crossing with a slightly more linear story, as well as a few more RPG elements than Animal Crossing. Basically, the game follows the path of a little girl named Miniko, who just moved into her new home on an island filled with cats. Throughout the game, you'll be exploring the island and collecting different types of items to keep or sell at your weekly nighttime market. There's also quite a few mini games here to play throughout, and the art style of this game just looks very unique and cool. Minicozzi's Night Market is coming to both PC and Nintendo Switch as a console exclusive sometime in 2019. Into the Breach was the big final reveal for this presentation, and it's actually out on the eShop as we speak. For fans of Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle or Fire Emblem, this might look a little familiar, but at the same time, vastly different. This is a tactical turn-based RPG played out on a variety of 8x8 square grids. You might think that the shrunken number of available spaces compared to similar titles would vastly limit your strategical options, but instead, it looks like it creates a completely different feeling type of gameplay, where you might have less choices on what to do, but it also makes every turn a lot more important to not make mistakes with. In this game, you'll play as a team of mech pilots saving cities and towns against giant kaiju monsters, and to complete each mission, you'll have to choose between keeping your men alive or saving all the civilians. This game has already been out on the PC for a few months, but it's now on the Nintendo Switch eShop for $15. It's a lovely morning in the village, and you are a horrible goose. If you were on YouTube in 2014, you may remember the resounding success of a game called Goat Simulator. In this game, you play as a goat, and you walk around and cause trouble with your goat powers. Untitled Goose Game definitely doesn't look as massive or as graphically impressive as Goat Simulator was, but it does look like it's trying to capture that nonsensical fun that comes from being an annoying little animal in a town full of people. You'll start out as a goose in a small but bustling town, and you'll roam around looking for new objectives, such as stealing the farmer's clothes and throwing them into the pond with a bar of soap. Or you could choose to gather a bunch of food and supplies to set up a picnic for your goose self. The possibilities are only as small as your goose brain can imagine in this fun simulation game coming out in early 2019 on PC and as a console exclusive once again on Nintendo Switch. One of my favorite things about indie games is that they don't have to conform to a certain structure that most AAA games have to abide by. The World Next Door is definitely a good example of one of these types of games. This is a narrative-driven adventure game centered around a unique puzzle combat system. The puzzle gameplay does look very intriguing, but I think the biggest draw of this game comes from the amazing story. You play as a teenage girl named June who gets stuck in an alternate dimension filled with dozens of different types of magical creatures, and you'll form friendships with others based on how you decide to act with them through the dialogue system. Depending on how you respond to people, they will either like or dislike you, so each player is going to get a slightly different experience, and I really love games that use a feature like this. The game is indeed developed by an indie studio, but it's actually going to be the first game published by American company Viz Media. You may have heard of these guys as they have been the largest anime and manga distribution company in America since the 90s. They brought over some of the biggest anime and manga series of all time, including everything from Yu Yu Hakusho in the early 90s to the more recent My Hero Academia. The World Next Door is going to be the first game that company has chosen to publish, and if Viz Media is willing to get behind it, it's almost guaranteed to have a super solid story. The game is being released on PC and once again as a console exclusive on Nintendo Switch in early 2019. Lately, there's been a whole lot of rumors about new Super Mario Bros. U coming over to the Switch, and personally, I just prefer them to leave that on Wii U and give us Mario Maker instead. While we wait for the inevitable release of Mario Maker though, this November we're getting a sort of indie version of this game called Levelhead. The main draw of Levelhead is that you can create your own levels and then post them online and have other people around the world try them out. You can also try out other people's levels, of course, and you can even follow other people's profiles so you can know whenever that person comes out with a new level. The thing that I thought was really cool about this game is that it actually comes with a full single-player campaign as well to play before you start making your own levels, which is something that Mario Maker never had, so in a way, there might technically be slightly more content to play here than its Nintendo counterpart. I think that this is going to be a great game to tide us over for Mario Maker, and I think it does have the potential to garner a big community of its own. It's also going to be exclusive to consoles on Nintendo Switch, which is, of course, always a winning factor for me. If you haven't watched the trailer for this game, I definitely recommend that you do. The narration is really funny, and there's a lot of good jokes. Just everything about that trailer made me want to try this game out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it holds up in November of this year. I know that these Nindies spotlights probably aren't as exciting for most people as those bigger Nintendo Directs, but I still look forward to them every time they come around. It's still really exciting. Just Nintendo produced content in general. I love all of the presentations, all of the sounds and transitions, and this new guy, he's kind of like the Nindy Reggie is what I'm gonna call him. This guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was awesome in this Nindies presentation. I hope that he comes back for the next one. Yeah, like I said, I probably won't play most of these games, to be honest, but I still think it's really cool that they put a spotlight on these smaller dev studios games, and without this presentation, I probably wouldn't have even heard of a lot of these, so it's obviously doing something and spreading awareness for games that a lot of people might not have heard of otherwise. Let me know your highlights from this presentation down in the comments, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Switch content available. This has been Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.